folks, Nathan up here in the Rocky Mountains, right near Tombstone Hill, our off-road obstacle course built specifically for crossovers, just like this one, the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. And we're gonna check out how its 4Motion all-wheel drive does up here. You are inside the most luxurious, most expensive Volkswagen you can buy in the United States. And that's because this one, the SEL Atlas, runs about $51,000, but that is fully loaded with everything you see here. Now, we'll talk about the interior in just a second, but I wanted to tell you about this switch. It is the Auto Mode, the mode button, which can take you from snow to normal to sport and to off-road, and then there's an off-road custom switch that will actually allow you to play with some of the settings. But for the most part, in this mode, what it will do is it will tell the rear end that I want 50%, which is maximum, torque being sent back there. And also tell the ABS system, the traction control system, we want to minimize wheel slip as much as possible, and if a wheel starts slipping, kindly grab it to stop it from slipping and send power to the wheel that isn't slipping. One of the things a lot of you guys are unaware of is that we travel on several miles of dirt road, some of which is a little bit on the challenging side, getting to Tombstone Hill. Now, the reason why I mention this is because one of the things that it has is a ton of washboard. By the way, I shut off the parking sensor. Washboard is something that a lot of people kind of forget about. It's discounted from their mind. And it shouldn't be, because it can be treacherous. We recently came up here with my Suzuki and the Daihatsu Rocky that Tommy got, and the washboard beat the crap out of these cars. And one of the things that it does is it's repetitive. And as it repeats, if you don't have a suspension system that's really dialed in, you're going to lose traction. And I, on more than one occasion, nearly swapped ends driving the Suzuki. Now bear in mind, the Suzuki is built for off-roading. So when I go over washboards in a vehicle like this, it just takes it in stride. It's no problem. Super soft suspension. And it's not really built for washboards, but it handles them really well. And right now I'm going over some potholes and some dips here and there. This is just part of the road leading up to Tombstone Hill. And any car can do this. However, if you lack ground clearance, some of these dips will cause you to bottom out. I'm actually a little excited about taking this vehicle off-road, and part of the reason why is because of the tires. These are Pirelli Scorpion Zeros, and they're huge, 255 50 series on 20-inch wheels. The reason I'm excited is because in the past we took one of these Atlas off-road with different tires on them, and they weren't as grippy, and I'm really curious to see how these Scorpions do. Now bear in mind, when we took that vehicle off-road, that was up Goldmine Hill. This is actually going to be looser dirt and a little bit more challenging. Now it is time for Truth and or Dare. We're gonna go up Truth, which is just like Disco Lemonade. It is going to be a lot of fun, and at the same time, we're gonna have traction issues. So I'm in off-road mode. I'm gonna go into first gear. I really like the fact there's a gear lever. There's a lot of great crossovers out there, but I just can't stand push buttons or rotary knobs. Okay. We're already losing a little bit of traction right there. And a little bit more traction right there. These Scorpion tires are really more for all season. They're not really built for off-roading. So I was curious to see whether or not they would actually get grip up here. Oh. It's challenged, but it's doing it. What I can hear is when the front end lets go, the rear end kicks in. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Once again, up to 50% of the power goes to the rear. Yeah. Well, that is interesting. So the all-wheel drive system works really well. Scorpion tires have worked really well on loose sand, light loose sand, and the highway. But coming up the hills, so far it's proven to be challenged when it comes to getting traction. I'll be damned. And somebody in a Ford Raptor is coming up this hill. ...276 horsepower, 266 pound-feet of torque. That's what you get with this 3.6 liter V6 engine. Now it's a narrow angle VR6. Basically, it's really good for packaging. But let's say you don't want this engine. There is a turbocharged 4-cylinder 2-liter that puts out around 235 horsepower. But both of them are hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and this one has 4-motion all-wheel drive. So when you're in off-road mode, hill descent control automatically kicks in when you're over a certain degrees facing down. So right now I have my foot off the accelerator and the brake, and it's going down at 2 miles per hour, and that's sort of like a preset for it, between 1 and 2 miles per hour. So yeah, we're just cruising downhill. So hill descent control works, even though there's no button for it. I still find the Volkswagen Atlas to be one of the more handsome, slightly more macho designs amongst all the other 3-row SUVs that are out there. Let's face it, a lot of them are really swoopy and, I don't know, not very masculine looking. I think that the Atlas is a little bit. And recently, for 2021, they redid the front end. It's actually 3 inches longer. The rest of the vehicle looks like it used to, which to me looks chiseled. The bad news? It has fake rear exhaust, and I just don't understand why. You hurt me, Volkswagen. You really hurt me. Let's talk about the interior real quick. As you can see, it is actually not a bad place to be. Once again, the most luxurious, expensive vehicle you can buy in the United States from Volkswagen. But it's not perfect. One of the issues I have is right here. Your knee hits this, and this is remarkably cheap feeling plastic. For a $51,000 vehicle, I would hope that they could at least throw some fabric or leather or something over this. This is really uncomfortable for the knee to hit. Most of the other materials are quite good though, so if you take this and kind of put it out of your mind, everything else here is pretty nice. I do like the raised white stitching. I do like the seat materials. The overall display system, quite nice. And all new for 2021, this steering wheel, which is great because it's got the flat bottom, which is racy and also great for fat people. And it also has a wonderful feel to it, great grip. Altogether, the car has a very staid feeling to it with a little tiny bit of luxury, but I wouldn't call it a luxury car. One of my gripes has to do with the lack of exhaust noise. But there is a good little piece of news for you guys, and that is the Fender stereo system that's in this vehicle is fabulous. And I like to crank up music whenever I can, it keeps the voices out. And this system absolutely does what I want it to do. Lots of bass, lots of just real power. I like that. This is the berm. It is, in many ways, one of the more challenging components of Tombstone Hill because it does 3 things. One, it's very loose. The dirt is, even when it rains, just really doesn't adhere. And that's a good thing because it tests the all-wheel drive system. And also, it's steep. Now, I'm a little over 6 feet tall and basically eye level to the top of the berm, but it's only a few feet getting up there. So the angle is very steep. What that means is that when you get to the top, a majority of the vehicles at least will lift 1, if not 2, tires trying to get up and over it. And finally, see that little spot right over there? We have to go through it. And that causes an issue with articulation. So between getting to the top and going through that and losing traction, it's all a major challenge. Away we go, going into first gear. Now I am in the off-road mode. Yeah. So real quickly, To clarify, this vehicle has an 8-inch ground clearance, around 20.4 inches approach, not inches, degrees, 20.4 degrees approach, 17 degrees breakover, and 22.4 degrees departure angle. Here we go up the hill. As I think about it, just like before, just like on Goldmine Hill, you put your foot into it and it figures it out. So what I felt was the ABS system kicking in, stopping the wheels that spin, sending the torque to the wheels that have grip, and it just took care of it. And it probably took about 2 seconds with my foot all the way to the floor to make it happen. All right, guys, well, the Volkswagen Atlas performed pretty much the way I expected it to. There were a couple things I wasn't expecting. I thought the Scorpion tires would be a little bit grippier on this surface, and part of the reason I think that I was a little disappointed is because I wanted to go up the Dare side, but there are two problems. One, the sidewalls of the Scorpions, I don't know how they're going to handle sharp rocks, and they've already taken a beating, as you can see. Two, the approach angle, I don't want to rip the front end of the vehicle, because if I do, Roman's going to rip some components on me. Still, going up a very difficult grade and going up the berm, the car proved competent, and I'm thrilled about that. Thanks for joining me for the Fast Lane Car and Fast Lane Off-Road and TFL Truck and TFL Classics and TFL Talk, TFL Spaceship and TFL Boat. This is Nathan. I'll see you guys next time.